A brand new report was released by OPEC, the Association of Oil Exporters. It says that low oil prices achieved its goal and the U.S. cut its shale production. What on earth does this mean, you might ask? Well, I'll tell you. Let's say that there are two coffee shops. They've been working for a long time and have their loyal clients. One of the owners is a bit richer because he has more beans. The average price for a cup is around $2. Then a third shop joins the competition and starts enticing their clients. The two original sellers don't like it and start dumping the price, so the average price becomes around 50 cents or so. The new guy bears losses and his sales go down, but the two sellers we started with suffer as well. And while rich one can hold on, the poorer coffee shop can't stand the heat and looks for ways to restore the old price. Now, the rich coffee shop is OPEC members like Saudi Arabia and Qatar. The poor one, OPEC members like Venezuela and Iran. And their competitor is the United States with its fracking technologies. Joining me in the Now to break this down is Stuart Elliott, editorial director, at Platts News Agency. Thanks for being with us. Growth in U.S. output is falling. Is there still any point in pushing to keep oil prices low?
I think the main thing to think about is why the price is so low anyway. It's not to do with necessarily any objective by OPEC or by the US. It's simply a factor of economics and the fact that there is this 2 million barrels a day of oversupply on the global market at the moment. The reason the price has fallen so low is because OPEC, for the first time in a long time, has refused to intervene in the market. As you say, they hoped that the US would blink first and would have to start cutting its own production because the price has gone so low. The US, though, you could argue that actually production isn't going to fall. It's only the growth that's going to be stymied, if you like. There's no sign yet that production will actually start going down from the US. And with OPEC also insisting that it's not going to cut its production, you're going to carry on having an oversupply for the foreseeable future, and analysts are expecting actually the price to go even lower and down to something like $30 a barrel this quarter.
Well, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro is in Russia, of course, as part of a voyage, this global voyage between the poorer oil-rich countries to figure out ways to restore the prices. What ways are there, if any?
That's right. He's been on a bit of a tour. He's been to Iran. He actually also went to Algeria, two of the countries that have been calling for OPEC unity to decide on cutting production to shore up the price, because it's really, really hitting those OPEC member nations, as you said. He's also been to Saudi Arabia. You can only imagine what kind of conversation President Maduro had with the Saudis about what they're going to do next, because it was Saudi Arabia, let's not forget, who led the OPEC decision not to cut output in November, which triggered this catastrophic collapse in the oil price. And now President Maduro is in Russia meeting President Putin, and you would want to be a fly on the wall of their conversation to see what they would say. Because
Indeed, Stuart, I want to ask you about the role of non-OPEC countries like Russia. Of course, its economy has been crippled by these low oil prices. What's Russia more interested in, or should it be more interested in, keeping its market share or higher oil prices?
I think, yes, Russia has a bit of a quandary because production is at a post-Soviet high of 10.58 million barrels a day or so. And they can't very easily shut in production anyway, because it's technically very difficult to do that. So there's very little Russia can do to force the price back up. I think Russia has kind of been waiting on the sidelines, hoping that OPEC would act. In fact, in November, some of the top Russian oil officials, Igor Sechin from Rosneft and the energy minister Alexander Novak, met with Venezuelan oil minister Ramirez and with the Saudi oil minister to try to come up with some deal, I think, where they could all agree on how to push the price back up. Since then, the price has fallen even further. Now it's less than $50 a barrel. And Russia is suffering a lot from such a low price, but there's not much Russia can do in terms of actual action. So it would be very interesting to know what the Venezuelan president had to say to President Putin today.
All right, Stuart Elliott, editorial director at Platts News Agency, with us in the Now. Thanks so much. Well, like Stuart said, Brent oil is trading at $49 per barrel now. And historically speaking, it's not that low. Against this is just historically. It was trading below today's mark from the early 90s up to 2000. Then it went up, but in 2008, nearly hit a $40 per barrel mark again.